Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big 12 Tournament Final. I'm joined with Fox. Arizona takes on the Cyclones of Iowa State. Arizona, number 1 seed, Iowa State, number 2. The Wildcats unbeaten. It should be working now.
In testing.
We're good.
Yep, we are good. All right, now making sure that we are ready to go. And the 1 and 2 seed, as you expect,
Number
of course,
three.
with the Wildcats, or 1 and 3 seed rather, the Wildcats undefeated. You know, you expect to see some success from both of these teams. They've showed it thus far, and now they've got one final step to take here in order to secure themselves a place in front. Speaking of in front, Vanish had a chance to shoot. A couple players for the Wildcats strike back, and then Midas has to reach back and tip that one over the goal. As we head north to south very quickly, Nation, we've not really had much time to settle in. These two teams, they look pretty fast-paced. They're ready to go.
Absolutely they are. And Iowa State number 3 in the Big 12. The Utah was second. They beat the Utes on Sunday night in 4-1 fashion. And to close the season, these two teams met. Arizona won it in Game 5. So these two teams have gone the distance multiple times in the past. I think tonight will be no different.
Well, if the first minute and some change is any indication what we're going to get, how about that passing play as Midas had a little redirect. Not sure if it was on target because it was caught beautifully by a Wildcat player there waiting right in front, and Amp is going to get the first goal. A beautiful feed from Bob. That's 1-0 off the passing play. The steal in the pass from Bob was picture perfect.
Arizona on the board first here, minute 25 off the clock, and the Wildcats back to where they started, number 1. They're perfectly undefeated this season, Fox, trying to keep that going into the tournament.
I'm sure they would love if you would stop saying that. Never jinx it, especially here at the finish line, but we'll have to wait and see how they are able to try and get through Iowa State. Because on the other side, Iowa State have had a couple seasons now consecutively where they've performed very well. It feels like, I mean, just with CCS in general, all these teams are starting to get better. They're getting more of a feel. More players are getting involved. CCS is growing, and, you know, you have two teams like this, such quality meeting in the conference final.
This is both their third seasons across the league for Arizona and Iowa State. A couple of early exits in the tournament and a deep run both last season for Arizona and Iowa State. And I think now tonight's kind of a precursor of what's to come in the postseason.
This one's going to be chased down in the corner. Oh, it gets through everybody. Thankfully for Iowa State, there was no shooters in the area in the red vehicles. Instead, Midas is going to be tested by said red vehicle. Midfield, it gets popped up, dropped into the Arizona zone. Bob has put it into danger. Midas is touch looking, trying to find Vanish. Unable to solve the defense there. The Wildcats making sure, putting their cars in great places, nice and responsible as well as quick. That is a tough formula to try and solve when it comes to defense, when you have players in your face quickly and they just seem to be in the right spot every time.
2-minute warning approaching here, and Arizona still lead by 1 after 3, Fox, and so far it's been so good for the Wildcats this season. 8-0, 2-0 in the non-conference, couple of key victories across the way to a perfect record. But in these, conference champ tournaments, it's difficult to win in these final games. And last season, Iowa State got to this point and were perfectly swept by Cincinnati. So again, they know what it takes to get to this point. Iowa State's had a couple of Big 12 final appearances with Colorado as well in the past, and they've been unable to win. We'll see if tonight's a different story.
The good old Colorado days, juggernauts in the CCS conference. And, this is almost one of the biggest stages for CCS. You do have the national championship with everybody, but, this conference championship, this is a way to make a statement for yourself, win yourself a title, and Bob is going to win himself some open time and space. No double to be had. Midas yet again shuts it down. Good clear as well. Midas has been very, very pesky when it comes to defense for Iowa State, shutting down a lot of the Arizona chances, and now it's getting thrown right back to him off the sidewall touch. Amp has got a 50 in his way. Vanish towards the backboard. Nothing there again. Arizona collapsing exactly where they need to with the ball, although this might be problematic as Vanish came whooshing through the front of the net. Unable to get anything on target, and even though the boost totals are not exactly all too plentiful, the Wildcats continue to put a brick wall made of red in front of the Iowa State attack.
You mentioned the biggest stages, and that's why, as we know, with the Big 12, one of the biggest conferences in the country in NCAA Division I athletics, and this is one of the biggest and toughest conferences in CCS, Fox, and these two teams playing at the pinnacle of it.
Exactly that. Bob will be there first to touch it away from Cloudy, throwing him off just for a moment. He's got ball now, though. So he will challenge Amp in the air. Great touch here for Midas. He's got a chance. Goes for the flip. He's got to watch out. Bob is in his back pocket, taking that ball right away from him, but it's in front for Cloudy. Shot on target is good, and that is going to be the tying goal. It wasn't exactly the hardest of shots, but it was darn near accurate.
Cloudy going to put away a big one to tie us up with 1 second to go. These two teams likely going to require some extra time.
Big goal. One's across the board. 1 second left. We'll have to see. Does the team find a way to win it in regulation? The ball has been popped up. Iowa State will have that opportunity. Midas's attempt will be stopped. Dropped into the dirt by Amp. As Goose Knob, watching his goat, send us to overtime. From the chat, here's Cloudy now. Tries to take to the skies. Not enough boost there. And ironic that it is cloudy, but on Manfield night, it is crystal clear up in that sky as the moon continues to shine down on these two teams, looking to try and get the first blood in the series. It's going to be cloudy yet again, getting challenged almost immediately. It's not really a whole lot of time and space for either club right now, Nation. Whatever you do with the ball, you have to make a decision. You have to make it quickly. You have to stick with it, because indecision is where you start to run into trouble.
Absolutely, and I think, in a series like this where there's a lot of, high-pressure situations, such as Cloudy's attempt here, no game winner, no good. Rebound is turned away. Amp, another big save for the Wildcat defense. These two teams just keep going at such a high level.
Arizona not having had the best second half of the game. They started off really well, but ever since then, it has been a lot of Iowa State attack in the red half of the field. Cloudy going the opposite way, gets a team bump as well. Thankfully, Vanish will be there to bail his buddies out. Let them get some boosts. Very good job at buying time, using his flip wisely. Two Arizona players commit. That almost put him in a bad spot, but Amp was ready to watch that one and keep it away from harm. Then Amp stepped into harm himself. He got bumped, which left a briefly outnumbered opportunity in front of goal. But some good defense again, that time from Bob, withstanding two Cyclones players. And now here comes Cloudy yet again, trying something in the corner. There's not very many yellow cards there until Cloudy arrives from above. Vanish off the ceiling. They've got Midas there, but Kotala says, "Nuh-uh, let's go this way."
Here's an offense, an open net. Katala from defense to offense, going to find the winner. A minute 44 to 1-0 Wildcat lead.
Oh, you can see the trust from Bob. Bob had already committed forward when Kotala ran up into the air. If he doesn't get that touch, Kotala, that ball is probably headed into the Arizona net, but instead, team chemistry and trust in your teammates ends up with a beautiful passing play, and Kotala has got first blood in the series lead for the Wildcats.
Arizona 1-0 after the opening 5 minutes in a thrilling game one. We had a 7:44-minute game, Fox, and we got some extra time already in this best of 7.
Did you happen to catch the shots, Nation?
I did not. I missed
it. The total. It was 17-4. What was the shooting total? Which that's quite the discrepancy. Defensive masterclass indeed. As plenty of shots, not a whole lot going through though. And making those that do come, as these two teams will get a better feel for each other. Whatever opportunities you do get, you have to take full advantage of. Even if it's not on target, if it's just something to throw off the defense, throw something into the way that these two teams are playing, because they look locked in. Although this is going to be a turnover by the Cyclones. Tala trying to outweight Cloudy, but Cloudy was the victor there. The ball deep in the corner now. Amp will have to watch out because Vanish is right there in his way. Vanish maybe goes for the touch. He's got it. Cloudy had a chance to shoot, but Amp from behind. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. You're headed towards your goal right in front, but a great touch, and he saves the day.
4:10 to go. Iowa State now looking to tie this series at 1 after game 2 here, but it's going to require a lot of offensive work, Fox. As we know, this has been a defensive battle so far, especially out of Arizona, but now here in game 2, the stakes are higher for the Cyclones.
Indeedy do, as Amp will give away possession to Cloudy, but goes back to play in his way. Good touch there. Another 50. Not much for the Cyclones is clean and crisp. Right now, they are landing on the ball quite nicely, but they don't have any room to make the plays they want to, just like we see right here. Amp up immediately to meet Cloudy's touch, so Vanish is going to try testing the backboard prowess of the Wildcats. Bob passes, but has turned the ball over. Kotala will help him out, keeping that ball safe from harm, but Arizona struggling a little bit. Their touch is more vertical than down the field right now, and Iowa State starting to hem them in. This is an opportunity for the Cyclones to strike if they're able to wear down the Wildcat team, but that ball escapes the second man, and the Cats, they survive.
2 minutes down in game two. A whip in front for Amp. Cloudy fires denied. The lone score for Iowa State, unable to turn in a slightly open target there, Fox, but we keep going here in game two. Half the game nearly gone here in about 20 seconds, but you know, as it stands right now, we've seen quite the series through almost 10 minutes of this one.
Yet again, another aerial challenge as Vanish is right there to stop Amp's fun. You can air dribble all you want, but the other team has got somebody in your face. You're getting bumped, you're getting challenged, you're getting just anything. In terms of challenges, that one has to be carried away from the net mouth by Vanish. Good 50 on, I believe it was Amp just sitting in front. Chance to shoot. Vanish denied that one. Now Midas will put Kotala up to the sky, testing out the defensive prowess. Again, the Wildcats pass. Not really much. If you're a fan of goal scoring, this might not be the series for you. But if you're a fan of two teams really playing strategic chess against one another, you're probably having a good time right about now.
1:55 to go. Vanish taking his time. His teammate killed one-on-one. Bob off the same. Cloudy's got to retreat here, Fox. And 2-minute warning just behind us. What are you seeing as we're about 11 minutes through this series now?
I'm seeing both teams really going at one another, to where something along the lines of a demo, even a slight mistake like a whiff, a miss, or a missed touch, anything like that can end up in the net right now as tight as this game is being played. I mean, it's going to take one of those moments. It's either going to take a mistake or a solo play to really break through right now, because in terms of team play, nothing's there because you just don't have the time and space that's necessary.
1 minute, 15 seconds. We're still tied, Fox. You think we're going to see overtime again?
It feels like it, the way that these two teams are going, but Midas has something to say about that. That ball hit the ceiling pretty hard, and it will fall to Kotala now. He's got Bob racing forward, trying to get the better of the 50 there. It will drop back. Amp chance to pinch. Not much on it, and Midas will put it back to the back wall, where Kotala seems to have made a campsite for himself. Just always there, it feels like. And just like right there, Bob tries to carry forward. He gets bumped. He's got a player on him and a player on the backboard. There's just nothing there. Excellent Rocket League from both of these programs. Now Cloudy going to try and pinch with Vanish. The ball goes by the man in yellow, though. And Midas is getting bumped now. The only problem is Bob had no boost until finally it would spawn, and he uses it absolutely perfectly. Getting the ball past a couple players, buying his team time, getting some time and space. Just coming at a premium now. Now Vanish, drop down, passing play to Cloudy, the stop. Good save by Kotala in front of goal, but the rebound is here. It's available. It's going to be cleared all the way downfield. Vanish is there to tip it over. And don't look now. We have gone 5 minutes of regulation. Neither team has been able to score. And the next goal will be the only goal. And it's going to put a team victorious headed into DFH.
On to overtime, Cloudy and Bob, 1-on-1. It's going to be a tie series. 5 seconds to kick off. A winner. Good for Cloudy.
It's like I feel like I kind of got to toot my own horn. It's kind of like what I said. You have to have a solo play. Cloudy with a nice little dribble. He was out of boost, but uses his flip at the perfect moment. Solves Bob in the 1-on-1, headed back to the net. It took a kickoff play. It took an effort from Cloudy, but finally we do have a goal. And, I mean, the shot totals 9-4. Yet again, high volume. And finally, Iowa State gets the breakthrough.
Again, we're 16 minutes into this series. We've only played 2 games. That's kind of crazy.
And we will head on over to a DFH. Everybody's just ready to go. Everybody's locked in. Both teams are locked in. We'll have to see. After a game like that, you know, both teams played such solid defense for so long. I feel like this game is either going to be a lot of the same, where we might have another very low scoring game, or I feel like one or both teams are going to find a way to really break through in this one. It's kind of the trend you see in some of these competitive games where after a struggle to score in one game, the next game kind of opens up a little bit for one or both.
Again, Iowa State's got the experience playing in the Big 12 final. I mean, like 2 seasons ago against Colorado, went to Game 7 overtime, and Thumper ended it with after 5 minutes of extra time. And then last season, they got perfectly swept and shut out by Cincinnati for 4 straight games. So they had it rough last time. Maybe this time around will be different. But right now, these 2 teams even at 1 Fox, and they played a lot of tight Game 5, Game 7 situations in the past in these series. I think it really just comes down to who can step up in the bigger moments.
That experience is going to come in handy in a series like this because it is so incredibly well contested that it's not going to take much to break that equilibrium both teams are throwing at one another. This one is going to be 50 forward by Bob. Good return by Midas, taking the ball away from his midfield. Now he's got Vanish there. They go for the pinch, and they've got it. Iowa State off and running less than a minute in. It's Midas and Vanish combining. Meeting of the minds, a meeting of the cars, and it's 1-0.
4:04 to go, and Iowa State on top 1-0 after the opening minute. But again, we've seen early leads come and go in the past year.
Absolutely. That goal, 85 miles an hour. So an excellent pinch out of the pair of Cyclones. Now, how can the Wildcats respond? Their scoring has gone a little bit stagnant. We saw them, they've only scored 1 goal or 2 goals up until this point. And for half the game in Game 1 and then all the game in Game 2, they've not had a whole lot of scoring opportunities. Wildcats need to try and wake up that offense that we know has been so potent so far this season. They've got to find a way to break down this Cyclone defense.
3:28 to go. Bob down for Kotala, down to Midas here in Arizona again. Coming in, they just come off an overtime loss from a kickoff goal, which obviously you don't want to have that happening for the Wildcats. You just give up a good look off the opening kickoff of overtime. But in terms of the offensive prowess, Arizona that's actually scored offensive goals, unlike Iowa State, outside of that 1-0 goal at the end of Game 1.
They will be looking to change that. Bob takes out Midas on his way, has given Kotala a very brief moment before Cloudy's right in his face, poking that ball off him. Now Bob has got Amp pre-jumping him. Amp shot. Speaking of pre-jumps, Midas was up a mile away from that one and is able to get a tip, putting that one away. And now it's Vanish, goes for something. He knows he doesn't have the boost to catch that, so he will wait patiently, get a feed towards midfield. Great decision out of Vanish, puts the ball into a scoring opportunity that the Wildcats do eventually sweep up. A midfield pass in the defensive zone for the Cyclones collapses the defense, and it's Bob who gets the tying goal for the Wildcats.
Bob, his second of the night, 2:32 to go. The Wildcats going to equal us up at 1, and again, half the game gone here, Fox. In Game 3, we're right back to kind of a similar situation where Game 1, where we had a tie game fairly early on in the second half.
Bob got the better of Cloudy on that exchange. He didn't in overtime. It doesn't matter because the battle for the rebound falls to Vanish. It's Cloudy versus Bob, one-on-one here. Bob does an excellent job on the save. Unfortunately for him, the bounce is right to Vanish. He's not going to make any mistakes from that part of the field. Just as soon as they lost their lead, they got it right back. Iowa State back in front.
2:23 to go. Kotala to midfield. Vanish. Now back down, awaiting patiently. Here is Amp for the goal line. We'll find a one save. Cloudy fires, denied by Bob. The Wildcats trail 1, 2 minutes to go.
Great reach there from Vanish. He waits patiently. Now Amp sees him waiting on that sidewall, so Amp actually outweighted the wait and gave Bob a chance, but he's out of boost. Not much he can really do from that position. Amp will take to the heavens now. Nice pinch. It's a little hard. He will get a pass off the back wall. He's got his teammate there. Kotala's shot ran into Cloudy, and now Bob trying something. Wonder if he got the flip. Doesn't matter. The shot from Kotala hit the post. It was close, but the fourth man for the Cyclones comes up big there. But the Wildcats might not be done yet because here's Bob. Chance to shoot. Opts to go wide. Trying to throw off that defensive structure. It's in front of the goal. That's a whifty out of 2 Cyclone players. Chance here for Amp, but Vanish is right there. His 2 teammates not in exactly the best position. Got a good 50 to buy them time, and Cloudy reaching up to poke that one away. Wildcats, they're trying, but there's just not a whole lot going their way.
1:12 to go. Katala. Down is Cloudy. Met by Vanish, back to Midas. 1 minute to go. The Cats trail by 1. Midas again still in control, broken up by Bob. The Cats need 1 here in the last 60 bucks.
Oh, great infield pass, but Cloudy again was just watching the entire time. You know, every single passing play, every single attempt towards the Iowa State goal is being met with defense. Kotala got bumped, but still somehow managed to get a piece of ball and keeps the ball out. But Midas putting it right back for the Wildcats to play fetch with on their own backboard. It's Bob putting it forward, but Vanish is there waiting on him. Every single touch the Wildcats have is running right into a Cyclone stop sign. Here comes Cloudy now in the corner. He could put this game away with a goal. He's going to need some help here from Vanish, reaching up to meet Bob. The ball is not leaving the red half of the field right now, and for the Wildcats, you need it to. Final chances here in the final 10. Amp will beat Cloudy. Vanish is right there to help out, but Kotala has a shot towards goal. Midas's touch ends up to Bob, but a missed opportunity there. 0-second drill. I think the Cyclones have gotten themselves a Game 3 and their first series lead of the night.
2-1 for the Cyclones after just about 18 minutes here or so of gameplay, Fox, and on our way to Game 4 here. And Arizona trailing by 1 as the Cats trying to enter that 1 seed conversation with multiple Akron and Drexel losses and a singular Florida loss. So again, if they could win this, finish undefeated, maybe they're in that 1 seed conversation.
And again, just looking at the stat sheet, the only player with shots for Arizona was Kotala. Ironically enough, Bob was the goal scorer. He didn't even have a shot on target, but the shots are 8-3. And right now, if you're struggling to find offense like the Wildcats, you need to start somewhere. You need to start with extended offensive zone time. You need to try and put more shots on target. Keep the Iowa State defense honest, because the defense is playing well. They're just playing up the field. You know, start putting something more threatening towards their goal. You need a bounce. You need some ball luck. You need something if you're the Wildcats to kind of give yourself a spark headed into what would hopefully be, if you're a Wildcats player, a tied series headed into Game 5.
Absolutely, and again, I think Arizona here, again, it's still early on. You have that extra game being in a best of 7 if they do drop this one and go down 3-1. But you know, a lot of the time when Arizona Iowa State play, they go to Game 5, they go to Game 7. So I think this series, honestly, like I told you earlier, it's going to be no different. And I'm fully expecting at least a minimum Game 6.
Nice touch here from Bob. Has found Kotala. Saw that Vanish was waiting on him. Vanish again. Just right there, he tried to take it to the sidewall to avoid Vanish, but he can't because Vanish is in his face. Yet again, great defense. The best defense is a good offense, and I mean, the Cyclone players, they're not afraid to attack the Wildcats, no matter what part of the field they're on, and this one's going to be attacking the goal from Cloudy. He threads the needle. It ends up being a fake and a half out of Midas. He touched one, forces Kotala to have to watch him, and by that point, the ball has fallen through to Cloudy. It's 1-0 Iowa State.
Cloudy's got another, I think that's his 3rd of the night, or 4th of the night. He's either got 3 of the 4 Iowa State goals or all 4 of them.
Cloudy's having himself quite the day, quite the evening thus far for his team. Not over yet, though. Work to be done. So the Wildcats will look to respond. They have to keep that ball out. They're not going to be able to because Amp's tank was dry. And Vanish off the backboard. Kotala tried to poke it off of him, puts the ball right where Midas wants it. It's 2-0. If Amp had any boost, he probably makes that stop.
3:52 to go, a 2-goal Cyclone lead, and right now things are looking very, very good, Fox, for Iowa State. If this one continues, as the Wildcats just have had nothing to answer with, and their offense has gone a little stale in about the last 7 minutes or so, like you mentioned in Game 3, when their offense kind of got a little bit sloppy in the end of that last game.
Oh, that's a beautiful drop down. It's towards goal. Bob makes a heroic save. It's not going to matter, though, because the Cyclones are absolutely storming the Wildcat encampment as that one. Bob will touch away from Vanish, but the outnumbered opportunity because Kotala was nowhere in the neighborhood. Another great play by Iowa State. The speed and the power of the Cyclones being a little bit too much right now for the Wildcats to handle. I mean, everything just looks to be falling apart for Arizona at this time and point in the series.
I think Arizona's got to at least change something. Maybe they've just gotten out of shotgun into the Wildcat formation, because there's the first goal from Bob. 3:22 to go, and they're within 2.
And that's what you're saying. A mistake out of Vanish. That touch a little bit heavy-handed. He tried to catch back up to it, but it ends up falling off the roof, setting up Bob. And, those type of mistakes, letting a team like Arizona back into the series when you have them back down in a 3-0 hole in Game 4, prepared to take triple match point. That's a mistake for sure. Not saying that it will come back to bite Iowa State, but that's a starting point if a comeback were to occur.
It's almost over Vanish as well. And Arizona they're familiar with 3-1 holes. They defeated North Texas in the tournament last season, down 3-1.
Oh. I thought for just a second that Musty was headed into the net, but Kotala is there, leaving it for Bob. Bob seems to be the one who has the most perk in his step right now for Arizona. Really carrying the offense for the team. Got the only goal last game, has the only goal this game. So if you are Arizona going to try and feed Bob, you also got to make sure that ball stays out of safety, or in safety rather, out of Cloudy's path. Manages to be lucky with that one. Cloudy did not get a touch. And the Wildcats do manage to get the ball out, but Midas has got the air dribble, got Cloudy there with him, helping the ball forward. Oh, that's going to be a miss out of Arizona. Touchdown towards midfield. Everything is working for Iowa State, and they manage to reclaim their 3-goal lead.
2:14 to go. The lead back up to 3 for the Cyclones. And again, this is Catala's rookie season in CCS, replacing the graduated Gusnov for this Arizona roster that's now in the transfer portal. With 2:14 to go, they're down 3. Can the Wildcats go big? Bob's been their best player in their CCS time, and he's been able to go big in the past in clutch moments, in dire situations. But tonight hasn't quite been that story.
No, the Cyclones have been playing stifling Rocket League. They've been playing frustrating Rocket League. Iowa State, I don't think they've had more than 5 shots a single game this series, Nation. They got held to 4 shots in Game 1, which they did manage to win. Since then, they've had 3, 4, and this game, as it stands right now, they're only at 3. So Arizona, the shot quantity is just not there. The offense, they can't find anything. Iowa State is making life difficult on the undefeated Wildcats. Their season is on the line here. They need to find a goal to at least make Iowa State have to think these final 90 seconds through. But everything and everywhere you look, there's a Cyclone player.
Last minute approaching here shortly, and Arizona's still needing 3. Something's got to fall soon if your comeback is going to happen here in Game 4. Else it'll be a 3-1 hole in the best of 7, where Arizona will look to crawl back out of a 3-1 deficit box, which again very rarely occurs, especially in these conference championship games where momentum plays a big part. So we'll see if Arizona can get something going soon.
Yeah, they are starting to throw the sink towards the house. All 3 players committed deep. This might be number 5. That shot, luckily for them, does go wide. They did throw some resources towards the Iowa State goal. Kotala is going to try forward. Bob is able to interrupt the save attempt out of 2 players for the Cyclones, but it just doesn't turn to much for the Arizona team. That shot dunked through by Amp, hits the crossbar. I mean, even that touch, nothing is going the Arizona Wildcat way. No boost for Amp. He's going to get taken out with a demo, and the woes for the Wildcats continue as we will head on into Aquadome. Quite fittingly, heading underwater for the Wildcats, trying to keep their heads above water and keep the hopes for the undefeated season alive, because they are almost New England Patriot territory. The perfect season coming to an end at the end.
Well, on to Game 5, Fox. 3-1, the score for the Cyclones. And Arizona, again, last season, like I mentioned earlier, crawled out of a 3-1 hole with North Texas in the second round of the CCS Championships to advance last season. So they were very well could survive here, but it's going to be a very difficult road back to level in this series.
I mean, honestly, I'm just immensely impressed by Iowa State. They've had almost double-digit shots every game. They've held Arizona to 5 or less every game. And it just feels like Iowa State right now have this entire field under control. And it's not easy for the Wildcats. If they are going to win this series, it is going to have to be absolutely earned. And, shout out to Kotala taking the full as much time as you can. In between, talk things over, take some breaths. You're still alive in the series, but something's got to shift here because your backs are officially against the wall. And with a Cyclone there ready to knock down that wall, you got to do everything you can to stay alive.
Absolutely You too. And now, again, this game 5, dire situation for Arizona. Can they answer the call? We'll have to wait and see here in game 5. Arizona is made to compete here.
These are the moments that really define a team. They can really help bond a team as well. Kotala with an early shot on goal. That already must feel at least like a small victory. Getting a shot. Vanish is going to punt the the Wildcat player right away. Bob returns the favor with a bump on Vanish, taking him out to the scrap heap. He's back on the respawn, but has given the ball away to Kotala. A miss from Vanish gives Kotala some room to try and work, but Cloudy is just sat there waiting. And now he'll have to wait to respawn as he gets bumped away. Bob bumped off that ball. Lots of physical play here early between these two teams as Amp will carry to the corner, running away from Midas, who has no boost. Amp beats the second man. Third man's Cloudy. Puts it to the corner where Vanish has got boost. Great, excellent team play out of Iowa State, and that transition out of their zone was pretty beautiful.
Double attempt from Amp. Full find a block towards the corner. Now back for Vanish. Iowa State starting the transition. We saw Arizona get really physical at the end of that last game. They're continuing that here, which could, go well for them. We'll have to wait and see how Game 5 goes. But Arizona, I feel like their offense has got to get started first before Iowa State starts to score.
Well, that was a mistake there. A ball that was put in front of the goal, gift wrapped for the Wildcats. Midas's attempt to get the ball away does have to end up being a save. Thankfully for him, the angle was shut down from his positioning, and Amp had nowhere to shoot that ball. It ended up being a stop, and now here comes Midas. No more boost to work with. That'll be all from him. Vanish and Bob trade demos there. Kotala doesn't get a piece of Cloudy, meaning Cloudy's got a chance to carry the ball all the way through. Bob with the save, but as has been happening all series long, Bob against the entire Iowa State Cyclone team is not working, and that will be another goal for the Cyclones.
Bob about a half second on that challenge when it made a touch, but 3:15 to go, plenty of time if you are Arizona. But Iowa State now back in front again, a fourth consecutive game striking first. We'll see if they can add on to that and make it a 2-0 lead and even a winning this series in 4 straight.
Kotala gets it around the first man. Second man has managed to touch it away. Great drop off. Amp has found Bob. Won't be much there though, as Cloudy will usher it away. And the Wildcats will have to hit the reset button. Both players headed back towards their back wall. Amp has got the carry. Amp has got a touch. He's got to get a good 50 here on Cloudy, perhaps. Cloudy got the better of him, but it's set up for Bob. He'll try and follow his touch. He got the touch on the follow-up challenge, but that ball just given right back to the Cyclones. Bob, again, another demo off the ball, but it just doesn't seem to be doing much for this Cyclone team because they're playing so slow and so patient, keeping the ball close. This has to be frustrating for the Wildcats because they don't have very much to work with in terms of field and possession play.
2:15 to go. Bob taking his time. Plenty of boost to use here. Gets a little bit past the first defender. Has help. Kotala's last alive. Couldn't make this save. 2-0.
Excellent play. Yet again, Vanish meets Bob in the air. Amp got caught a little bit heavy-handed there, too far forward, hoping to put something into the Cyclone net. Instead, it is booted all the way back down by Cloudy, who spots the opening, and the Cyclones can feel it. Arizona, they're starting to drown here. They need a life preserver to be thrown. Which one of the Wildcat trio is the one that's going to throw that one and try and save their season?
1:55 to go. There's no lifeguard in town, it looks like, Fox, so it's going to be all in the hopes of Arizona here to continue on that undefeated season that is now lying in jeopardy with 1:45 to go as they trail by 2 in an elimination game.
Oh no, it's just all falling apart. As Bob went back to grab boost, he thought perhaps that his teammate forward would have gotten it, and of course Amp thinking that Bob has got it back behind him. Miscommunication, not a whole lot of boost to work with, and picture perfect shooting for a Cyclone team that just doesn't seem to miss in this series. And don't look now, this is the first game that Arizona has cracked more than 5 shots on goal. The only problem, none of them have gone in.
1:30 to go. Arizona going to need a goal every 30 seconds to crawl their way back to equilibrium here. Arizona's getting trolled. Regular season merchant says, crazy there's a fourth.
Oh, that is a great pass Great shot indeed. Cloudy with a tip. Amp just seems to be caught a little bit in no man's land right now. The Wildcats being stunned here on the conference championship stage. Iowa State and the Cyclones are minute and 15 seconds away from claiming that title. One put towards goal by Kotala. Nothing there. The Wildcat offense has dried up. Much like the deserts in Arizona, there is no oasis to be found for the Wildcats, as it will be Iowa State taking the ball to the house yet again. Amp makes the save, rebound, hits the bar. That one could have been 5-0, but now Bob will escape with the ball, has to outweight Cloudy, gets the flick, tries to go behind him. Cloudy with a good save, and that will be just about all she wrote, Nation. I think it's time to get out the crown and start painting it a little bit in Iowa State colors.
Here's one. 34 seconds left. Still a goal every 11 seconds, just on that mark from 44 seconds. And they do get one, Fox, but again, 34 seconds, not much time for three. Can they get a miracle occur here?
The problem is that they got that one because Midas just threw the ball away right in front of his goal. Feels like Iowa State, the only way that Arizona is able to score is if Iowa State basically gift wrap it for them. It's going to be a turnover generated here, but Arizona's just not able to generate any offense. Like from zero, they are not creating offense from zero like you've seen in Blue Lock. They are basically stuck at zero. The only breaks they're getting come when Iowa State make some mistakes. That shot from Amp is wide. Final 10 seconds are going to tick down, and Iowa State have made a statement, and they will put the perfect season of Arizona to bed. They will win the conference championship, and congratulations to them, Iowa State. That series was intense, and it was downright dominant.
That it was. From game 2 on, it was really dominant for Iowa State. Well, thank you for watching. We'll be back in about 20 minutes for the ACC Finals. Syracuse, Florida State, up next after the break.